Welcome to the Metal Voice. Today on the show, the one, the only, Steve Souza, also known as Zetro. What's going on, Steve?
What's going on, man? How's everybody up north? Fight north.
Everybody's cool, man. Everybody's good. First off, the new album. Everybody's been asking me this. So what's going on with the new album? Where are you guys at? What's a timeline looking like?
Gary and Tom and I had to go to Metal Hammer Awards last Monday in London, and I actually looked in his eyes and said, when, Holt? When? He said, we'll be in the studio around November, so probably early spring. I have heard songs. I actually have been, because Gary writes when he's out with Slayer. He has this little recording unit in his room, and so he'll write full stuff with everything on it and send it out. So,
have you heard any of the music yet? The new songs from Exodus?
Yes, I've actually been sent a few songs just musically with no lyrics to listen to. You know, the idea is great. It's awesome. It's killer. Everybody's going to love it. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing.
Is it sort of like a continuation from Blood In, Blood Out, Tempo of the Damned?
I don't think so. What I heard is it's not. It's not. It's a lot of the record put together. You know, I think it's definitely what I've heard. It's got a lot of different stuff on it. That stuff that was on the records that I wasn't on with Rob. A little bit of that into it. Some tempo in it. Some Blood In, Blood Out that I've heard. Again, I've heard two songs that I actually have in my phone musically, and that's what I think the vein of it is. So heavy as shit, though. Really fucking heavy.
So, any plans for a live album?
We've actually been talking about that, and so hopefully this record cycle, after this album comes out, the tour cycle, we will get that done. That needs to happen.
All right, and a DVD as well, or just a live CD?
We do a DVD for every record we put on a DVD. I know we're playing some shows in San Francisco next month, and they're going to film there. I don't know what they're going to use for it, but I was told it was for some type of DVD. So I don't know if it's going to be a DVD that accompanies the record or a separate DVD. They never tell me this type of shit. You know what I mean? Here's that treasure map, the fucking thing. And so I'm always like, really? We are? No way. Wow. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, everybody knows we do. He's like, oh, yeah.
Justin wants to know, are there any plans to tour in Greece this year?
We would love to do it. I don't think this year because we're tapped for Europe right now. We're only going back to Europe for one show in July. But it's hard to get there. You know, it's so hard. It's like out of the way, you know, so it's tough to get there. And the economy, not all the greatest to support bands on our level. So lately, a lot of bands have been passing on Greece. But, I mean, I've played Athens and Thessaloniki twice. I love it.
I'm just going off on different topics because I got all these fan questions and they're all, you know, scattered. Andre wants to know your favorite Testament song you wrote, or perhaps even your favorite Legacy song that you wrote. When
I was initially in the band, it was Legacy. They changed the name after. But I have written Testament songs on the last 3 records. My favorite song? Probably Reign of Terror.
Okay.
Probably Reign of Terror.
What about, Jimmy wants to know thoughts on Pleasure of the Flesh. Your thoughts on as you look back at the album today. What do you think?
We just came back from Europe and played 3 songs off of it. Great.
All right, so you still love the album. It's still...
Love that record. The only record I have problems with some songs is Force of Habit. It's the only record. Exodus album.
And what do you think you're, you know, being compared to Baloff and Dukes over the years?
You know what? That's normal. That's a normal thing. When there's multiple players or multiple, you know, singers or guitar players, you're always in any situation you're going to be, you know, compared here and there. You know, it's a natural thing. I
know you play, you know, the Baloff tunes, and of course you play, you know, Dukes tunes. I mean, yeah. How do you feel about that as a singer? Do you love the challenge, or is it, you know, it's just you're forced to do it because of the fans?
No. Number one, it's not a challenge. That's fucking easy as shit to do. And number two, I love doing it. I love doing it. It's great. I think I'm the only singer in metal that sings other singers' songs from the band era. I think.
Iron Maiden. Dickinson does all three. All two.
Oh, that's right. Dickinson. No, Dickinson doesn't do Blaze though. He only does Paul Di'Anno, right?
No, he does the Klansman.
Oh, that's right. He does. But like.
Not on a regular basis. Not on a regular basis.
No. Rob doesn't sing any of the Ripper stuff. Joey doesn't sing any of the John Bush stuff. You know, so Dave won't sing Sammy. Sammy won't sing Dave. You know, so it's I welcome it. It's part of the band's history. I think that's pompous bullshit, refusing to play songs from the band. If you weren't there, that doesn't mean the band didn't exist. It's like the band wasn't alive, so you have to act like you don't acknowledge that era. I just think that's stupid. And besides, the songs, because I wasn't in the band, doesn't mean the songs were not any good. I love Iconoclasm, Children of a Worthless God, Ballad of Leonard and Charles. I wish I would have got to sing those on a record, but now I get to sing them live. I love it.
Have you talked to Duke? Rob Dukes?
Actually, I haven't talked to Rob at all. So we are doing 2 shows in San Francisco, and he's being invited up to sing on the second night.
Well, that's really cool, actually. I think fans really appreciate those kind of gestures, by the way.
You know what? Life's too short to hold grudges about trivial shit, you know? And I honestly don't know Rob. I really don't know him all that well. I've only met him like once or twice. And the decision wasn't mine. You know, I just came back, but it wasn't like I came back and said, hey, get me back in the band. They called me. So, you know, it's one of those types of deals I really had nothing to do with me, you know?
Christian wants to know, what Canadian speed metal band would you like to tour with?
Annihilator. Love them. They're great.
Mark wants to know that if you stayed with Legacy, which became Testament, what do you think would have happened?
I would have become a pompous rock star asshole, and I would have been terrible to deal with. And I'm being honest, because I felt that I had so much to do with that band's success from the beginning, and when it all started, my ego was huge back then, just to be honest with you. I started that band in early '84. By '86, we were fucking dialing in fucking clubs everywhere, 12 record deals. So if I would have continued there, I would have thought I was the cat's ass. So I know that. I'm glad that didn't happen, actually.
Orlando wants to know, does Dublin Death Patrol have a new album coming out soon?
No, we won't be able to do that. Chuck is too busy and I'm too busy. I actually did that band while I wasn't in Exodus. I had a couple other projects going, Patriot and Tenet. It just didn't really take too much time. Exodus takes all of my time, so that's why we wouldn't do that.
Makes sense. Michael wants to know, do you, what new thrash bands do you listen to today?
I listen to them all. Warbringer, Havoc, Municipal Waste, Patriot. You know, there's a bunch of great new bands. Toxic Holocaust, love that shit. It's all really good. So it's keeping the blood, you know, keeping it fresh.
All right, Clark wants to know, what do you think about Gene Simmons and his trademark on the devil horns?
You know what? Everybody's got to be famous for something, for Christ's sakes. Come on, Gene. You're a fucking legend. You got to claim to something. You know what I mean? Give me a break. I'm giving Dio that one. Sorry.
I want to know this. This is a question for me. You have the big four, and in my opinion, it should have been...
No. Wait a minute. Let me correct you. Let me correct you on that.
All right.
It's the big one, with no disrespect to any of the bands. It's the big one and the other three. If you want to talk about 4 bands. Okay?
All right, the big one and the other 3. The 1 plus 3, all right? The 1 plus 3. You have the 1 plus 3. And, you know, I think Testament and Exodus should have been included. It should have been the 1 plus the 4, right? Or the 5. However...
I have to say, that's because I grew up in the Bay Area before I was even in the band. Exodus was the only band doing this. Regardless if they got the accolades or notoriety for it whatsoever, they were the first ones who did it. They were the first ones I heard to do it. When I started Legacy, we were emulating Exodus. Every band in the fucking Bay Area that you know as a thrash band emulated Exodus. So that's kind of who, if you're going to categorize that stuff, I mean, I look at it as very trivial. I don't look at numbers like that. I know that, you know, the people in the media and the genre try to you know, pass that off. But I honestly, I don't believe that for 1 minute. You know, it's all of us together. We all have some piece of the history in making it happen. Some did better than others at that thing, but I think to say the big four, and I'll say that, you know, facetiously, the big four were the bands that were the initial most popular in the 80s when this music came out and started. So that's where they get that from, you know. So I always correct people, not disrespectfully, and no disrespect to Anthrax, Slayer, or Megadeth. But all three of those bands could play a concert, and Metallica could play next door and have 4 times the people there. It's just the truth.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. What do you think is the differentiator between Exodus and, let's say, I won't even say the big four, but I'll say the other more popular thrash bands? What makes you guys so much different than everyone else?
Brutally heavy and violent as hell. Always has been. The lyrical content, the shows, the attitude, the mentality, the riffs, the drumming. It's violence. Violence and brutality. And that's what we want.
Steve, I always loved your lyrics. What topics are you thinking about now to just put into that new album?
God, just open the fucking paper every day. There's tons of fucking shit to go off of. You know, Gary and I usually sit down and talk about that before. We haven't done that yet. So that's coming. But I like to stay socially aware, and we always, Exodus record usually has a serial killer on it thing, like BTK, Val Leonard, you know, we always get a serial killer in there. We always get an religion or Muslim song, some shit like that. There's always, you know, something about the scene and the way the violence, you know, like Blood In, Blood Out, you know, talking about the violence in the scene. So always something like that, you know, just good, friendly, violent fun.
All right, so let's recap, all right? Obituary tour starts in September, Exodus and Obituary. It's a North American tour. Your new album you're working on, and you said the release date was?
Well, we'll probably, you can't rush these things, and I can't put a gun to Gary's head. Excuse me, but we were in England last week for the Metal Hammer Awards, and I kind of sat there and looked at his face, in his eyes, and said, when, Gary? He's all, November. By November, we'll be recording it. Should be early spring.
All right.
So that's what I know right now.
Possible live album?
Wow, that's funny. You say that the last interviewer asked me the same question. Yeah, I think we're talking about that. It's been since '89. And
a last question. Somebody asked me this before. Souza. What's the lineage there? What's the background of that name? Is it Portuguese? Is it Spanish?
Yes, sir. Portuguese.
Is that your parents both Portuguese?
Grandparents. My grandparents came from the Azores Islands.
Okay, and how'd you get your nickname?
Acid trip when I was 14.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay. Walking down the street, I don't know if you've ever fried on acid before. We were just being this other guy, Keith Newport, watching stoplights change, traffic lights change. It's awesome when you're 14 and on acid. And so all of a sudden I just blurted out this word, that. It started out as that. And so I went to this party, and I was all whacked on acid. And I was sitting in a corner of the chair, and all I could say all night, according to everyone else, because I don't remember this, was that. So when I got back to school on Monday, in the smoking section where all my friends hung out, they were like, what's up? That. So from there it stuck. People started calling me that. And then one guy got mad at me one night and put the Tro on it. I think he thought my name was Jethro. So, I don't know. And then that stuck. So now it's Zetro. You know what's a trip is people don't even know that my real name is Steven. Some people know, like, so Zetro, that's kind of a very kind of odd name. Were your parents hippies? I'm like, yeah, they were actually. No, that was from an acid trip. My real name is Steven.
There you have it. I'd catch them on tour, Exodus on tour. Steve Zetro Souza, thanks for being a guest, man.
No problem, brother. We'll see you guys soon, eh? Take care, bro.
Okay, bye.